These playoffs, and I mean both legitimately and metaphorically, have been fucking killing me. They absolutely kill me. Not only with how late it is, because, Eastern Standard Time, we're all, old as fuck right now, but and just how much they drag the fuck on. I love the playoffs. I love them. They're so energetic. They're so fun. But my God, guys, you are killing me. I'm gonna have more gray hairs on my head by the end of this. By the time the cup is lifted, I swear to God.
Imagine if our Penguins were still in it.
I'd be all gray. Okay, nothing else.
Hey, how do we do this 2 years in a row?
We actually had a team that was good.
Not so
But
much
they have been fun though. These playoffs.
Yeah, I love the hockey playoffs. I love them, but it stresses me the fuck out.
The first round between Winnipeg and St. Louis was crazy. The second round we're about to see Game 7 tonight between Toronto and Florida has been insane. It's just been back and forth, back and forth. The Dallas series was pretty intense. That one just ended. Was that last night that ended?
Yeah.
Beat Winnipeg in 6. Carolina won. That's one I didn't catch. I didn't catch much of the Carolina-Washington series.
That series was boring.
That was the only series I didn't really.
Carolina just kind of kicked the shit out of.
Yeah,
Washington up and down the ice for 18 periods.
Outside of Game 2, Carolina was the more dominant team.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like, Freddie was being Freddie. Carolina's defense is phenomenal, shutting down Washington's top 6. Their offense they were rolling. They were cooking.
Carolina was keeping their cool, like not letting the Caps' shenanigans get home.
I like round 1 against Montreal.
Yeah, they let Tom Wilson get to him, and
look what happened. But yeah, just looking at Carolina, they were a really, really competitive team there against Washington, and obviously it shows with them moving on to round 2 against whoever tonight's winners.
The series has been. This series has been violent. It's been brutal. I honestly think that Carolina might be going to the final regardless, just because these two teams, regardless of the winner tonight, are so beat up from this series and so ran down from this series. I don't see either one of these two teams make it to the final just because of this series alone. This series has been probably the most fun to watch in these playoffs, and probably the most energizing and just the most physical series I have seen in quite some time. This is these two teams, you can tell clearly they do not like each other.
No.
Nobody really likes Florida right now. I think they're a bunch of goons. But
in all honesty, putting my jokes and my love for laughing at Leafs aside, the biggest reason
more or less laughing at the fans.
Oh yeah, but that comes with the territory. But putting all that bullshit aside, one of the biggest I really want Florida to advance, just because seeing that Eastern Conference final matchup between Sergei Bobrovsky of the Florida Panthers and fucking Freddie Anderson of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Two veteran goalies that have been around for a while.
Yeah. Obviously, just the one cup to Sergei and nothing to Freddie yet.
Yet.
But yet. Oh, I don't know. I knocked on wood, but yet. So that'll be a goaltending matchup dream.
Yeah. I think that's one of the only reasons I would not hate to see Florida go back to back is to see Bob raise another one. As much as I don't want to see Brad get another one, or as much as I don't want to see Kachuk get another one, or Sam Bennett get another one.
I did gain a lot of respect for both Kachuk brothers after the Four Nations. I'll be honest.
I still don't really like Brady. Matthew. I never really had anything much against Matthew. I've always been sided with you, and I've never liked Brady. I've never liked Brady. But you had to cheer him on there in the Four Nations. It was fun to see when you're cheering for that team. But now that they're in Florida, I don't give a shit about him. Or he's in Ottawa, don't give a shit about him. But he can stay up there. But nothing to talk about. We know, as we predicted, pretty much the last month and a half, 2 months, the London Knights are your reigning back-to-back J. Rob Robertson champions.
They are now,
as we predicted at the very beginning of the series.
I saw they are now tied for the most, in recent modern OHL. I know Dale Hunter has is tied for the most. J. Ross Robertson as head coach, but that was pretty predictable. I'm glad Oshra didn't.
I think I had said that halfway through the season when they started off, what was it, fucking 35-2 or 30, whatever, that ridiculous, right, wasn't that bad, but that ridiculous 35-10 record that they had to start the season. I was like, they're gonna repeat, and here we are. I mean, Oshra took that first game away. It's funny because the day after I said, "You guys are allowed to lose a game," they lost the game. So I think it was the day after, the night that this would have went live, or the day after that episode went live, they lost. So I'll take a little bit of credit for that, just a little bit.
They didn't get swept like they did last year against London. So
they did not want to lose on home ice. Is pretty much what they were fighting for. Yeah, man. Like we said, are we shocked that happened?
No.
We said at the beginning of the playoffs that London is the best team in the league for a reason. And we got together for just a little small get together last night. We just bullshitted for a little bit. And we were talking about first we started talking about Malcolm Spence, who committed to Michigan State. Or not Michigan State, Michigan.
Thursday, May 8th was when Oshawa beat London.
Okay, so it's a couple days after this last episode went live. But yeah, we were talking about Malcolm Spence being committed to Michigan. Why did it have to be Michigan, Malcolm? I love you, man, but why did it have to be Michigan? Best of luck, but fuck you, Michigan. Second, then we brought up, we're like, there should be absolutely no reason that London is this good again next year. Are they still going to be a playoff team? Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, yes, they're still going to be a playoff team. Are they still going to be probably a top 4 seed? Home, at least the first round of the playoffs at home? More than likely, yes. But there should be no reason at all they are a number 1 seed again next year.
Not number 1 nor not number 2.
Number 2. I can still see them being a 4, maybe having to drop down to the 5 and not getting any home series. But there should be no reason that they are
this good.
50-18 again, or 50-4, whatever the record was this year. There should be no reason that happens again. Especially with Kitchener still going to be probably even more stacked next year.
Well,
this conference is tough.
Well, technically that season was the season Kitchener was supposed to be in the rebuild.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be a rebuild team, so anywhere between 5 and 8, and they finished second.
Yeah, and this year they finished third.
Or third, sorry.
Yeah.
Third.
This year was third in the conference. I think last year was second.
Well, either way, they finished third.
Yeah.
So you're right. Kitchener's going to be even more stacked. I mean, granted, they're losing their away goaltender Jackson Parsons, but
the 2 teams to beat next year are going to be Windsor and Kitchener. Maybe even Barry's in the other conference, but they show that they're going to be a team to beat. They proved that. Brampton's going to be a team to beat. Oshawa, I think, is still going to be a team to beat.
Brantford will probably be up
Brantford
there.
is going to be up there.
the East is starting to get stronger over time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, any team's going to get stronger, with the exception of Niagara, but Niagara's Niagara.
And Saginaw is still a great team. Are they going to still be as good as they were this year? I don't know. We'll see about that, but I think we all know the Otters aren't going to be as good as we were this year, unfortunately. I hope and I don't think we're going to be bad enough to miss the playoffs again.
I said we're probably going to be lower seed.
We'll probably be 7th, 8th seed again next year, but I don't see us fighting for that 4th seed at all next year. We'd be fighting, I think, for a 6th seed at best.
Prove me wrong. I hope they prove me wrong, but that's...
Potentially fighting to be a first round against London next year with the 3rd or 4th seed in London. But that's, again, if we're lucky.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting going into...
Yeah, we're now losing Malcolm Spence. We've already guaranteed to lose Pano, Marty, and Alfie. Potentially going to be losing Schaefer. Potentially going to be losing Carey. Again, that all depends on how Anaheim and they want to, work out on his contract with us. It's gonna be a rough one. It's gonna be tough to figure out, especially that bottom 6 too, and then the defensemen as a whole are gonna be jumbled to bits. It's gonna be a rough one. I mean, when I have faith in Chris Millette and I don't know what he can do with this roster and what he can do with a full season with this roster.
Because this weekend we just had our draftees orientation camp this week, and I saw our local news was interviewing. He's like I don't know much about these guys yet, but he's like they gotta show me like how if they really want to play next year and stuff like that.
I'm sure
he's
hopefully
like
they'll have some
open, they gotta really amaze me. Like
open scrimmages again. Hopefully, they usually do those July, August. Those open those open scrimmage games. I will see the actual roster get to play right before preseason.
The last 2 years,
I'll definitely be there again because I'll be able to go because I did renew my season ticket for this upcoming season for my third season with the off year, so 4 years technically, but not. I mean, still went to a majority of games last year, but next to these guys hook me up with some of their tickets for even ones that they didn't use.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be tough for the Otters next year. I mean, I do have faith in these boys, man. I'm going to stand by them no matter what happens.
Oh, yeah.
I know you guys are with me on that one. Yeah. I got to stop saying so much. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough to see what this team can put together. Again, I have faith in Coach Chris Millette to see what he can do with a full season with this very tough to manage roster. We'll see. I know we were talking also briefly yesterday, depending on the whole OA situation. If I think Otters Sharker, shout out to you. I don't know if you listen to this, but you had tweeted out about a joke. You said Wesley Royston breakout season. I hope so. I think that'd be hilarious to see. But we were talking, me and Colin, I said it all depends on if we decide to keep Messier as one of our OAs, which I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening just based on his discipline issues. I mean, he is one of our enforcers, one of our power forwards, our guys that are meant to stick up for this team and drop the gloves when he needs to. If he ends up being one that stays, then I think that gives Wesley the opportunity to start being more of that playmaker, goal scorer type of guy. If not, then if Messi ends up leaving, then Wesley can continue to be the role that he has, be that fighter, be that power forward, the enforcer, be the guy that drops the glove when he needs to. We also said that, Sauter, we've seen Sauter drop the gloves a fair share amount of times. Is he a very good fighter?
No.
Sorry, Nathan, no, you're not very good, buddy. But
he's one of those leaders. It's like, okay,
he will take the punches for his team. He will.
I don't
drop the gloves.
I don't appreciate that you did this for my teammate. Here, take a couple fisticuffs.
Yeah.
In the process,
he can get some punches in, but he will not. He does not often win a fight. I think I've seen him fight maybe 5-6 times the last 2 years, and I think he's won maybe one of them. But he's gonna shit rock the other 4 or 5.
Yeah.
He's again. He is that guy that he will drop the gloves if he needs to defend his team, but he is not gonna win that fight. Wesley can't. I don't think I've seen Wesley lose a fight. Him and Messi, man, those boys don't lose fights.
No.
My favorite thing is going back to the Peterborough game last year, and seeing Mess go up and grab them by the fronts of their jerseys, just back and forth and back and forth.
He went after the one, but then that third guy decided to be third man in, and also hey, I went in on this, and Messi goes, I bet.
Fuck you, let's go.
Fucking Rock'em Sock'em robots with 2 of them. Boom, 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 boom. 2 reds and 1 blue.
Rock'em Sock'em Peterborough, right?
Rock'em Sock'em Pete's. Yeah, I'm still mad that I ended up missing that game because I think we had a Saturday-Sunday home 2 games in a row. I think I ended up I can go to one or the other. I ended up going to that Saturday night game, which I think we still ended up winning that Saturday night game too. But I was very. Colin's like, you guys should be very upset you didn't make it to this game.
I was watching.
Colin was the only one there, so
yeah, because
I Fringer at least wasn't the only fan there.
Well, yeah, thankfully, but. No, I remember talking to a couple of the guys around, and they're the guy next to me asking us I need to ask him about this coach, and I was kind of telling him, and then I turned, looked down, and I'm like, oh shit, the coaches are fighting. Oh shit, the coaches are fighting.
Listen to him talk about it on the Out There Record podcast. It's just hilarious. He goes, he's just sitting there, starts talking to Wes. and he was turning to his left to start talking to Ken, and he sees Peterborough's coach standing at their door, like, yelling at him. So he's like, I had to go over there and see what was up.
And he's just laughing the entire time too.
Like, you can see it on the telecast. You can see it on the
broadcast.
That's the word I was looking for. On the broadcast, you see like smiling as they're talking.
Like he fucking
Peter
care.
Burke's like in his face yelling, and Chris is just like, okay, yeah, I hear you. I love this coach, man. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see what he can do. Fresh heads, fresh season. You know, get the off season out of the way, and get fresh new heads. Get these boys where they need to be for next season, and I'm sure we will see how preseason looks and how these scrimmage games work. Depending on my work schedule, depending on when they host those, I'm definitely going to try to be at those. If we even get any home preseason games this year, I know we didn't last year, so because we did like all 3 years prior to that. So I know not all teams get to host preseason games. With the way they do it, I think it's still stupid, but
yeah,
a lot of the rules in the NHL are stupid. 2, 5, 10, fuck you. Yeah.
Real quick before we get into the current playoffs that are going on, one thing we forgot to mention with the London Knights, San Jose Sharks prospect Casper Holtman. He's the first CHL import draft player to win the Wayne Gretzky 99 award in the OHL history.
Who?
They gave it to Halston, whatever
Yeah.
that was? Really?
Yeah,
I definitely would have seen it go to either like Cowan or Dickinson or something.
Yeah.
Well, I can see he did have a hell of a playoff run. He did very well this year.
Yeah, so
He kicked our ass all 4 games. So
yeah, he was the first CHL import draft to win the Wayne Gretzky 99 award.
So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, moving on to talk more in depth about these NHL playoffs we got going on. Starting off in the East, we know we had briefly mentioned Carolina more or less kicked Washington's ass up and down the ice for 5 games. One game Washington took was Game 2 in Washington, a 3-1 win. Other than that, 2-1 win, 4-0 win, 5-2 win, and 3-1 win in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. Moving on to the Final Four. I don't know what the hell I just saw on my TV.
Freaking Paul Bissonnette,
It was
man.
nasty. That stash, though, is fantastic.
Dude, what a fucking beauty, man.
It is.
He's such a fucking beauty.
Such a beauty. Yeah, Washington didn't stand a chance against Carolina. I thought they were going to put up a little bit more of a fight than
That's
that.
right.
I think most of us said that was going to be a 7-game series in the last episode. It was not.
Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I kind of want to see this because apparently he's on the air right now, lighting a memorial for the Core 5. Paul, I think Biz Nasty. I know you're a big Toronto fan, like you're all for Toronto, but this is not how you do it, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I saw this, just looking at this Maple Leaf Square right now, all these fans going crazy right now. I saw a post, I think I saw it was on a TikTok. It said, name a sports city that would absolutely lose their shit, damn near burn to the ground, lose their fucking minds if they win a championship. Toronto. Toronto is going to be insane if they pull this thing off. Toronto is no longer going to exist if the Toronto Maple Leafs pull this off.
They're gonna
the whole thing, not just this game. But
they're gonna out Philly,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Philly will lose their shit. They win or lose. So
Yeah, they're gonna out Philly.
Downtown Toronto is going to be unrecognizable if Toronto wins this cup.
That's what they mean by the Philly special.
Instead of Philly, what are they going to yell? Toronto.
EAGLS, Eagles, right?
You know why they call it Philly, right? Because the people that live there can't spell Philadelphia.
I can't spell fucking Philadelphia.
Exactly. That's the nicest thing I can say about Philadelphia.
You good? You good? Going to the Winnipeg bag.
Are you good?
No. Going to the So actually, some of us had to work today. Thank you, fucking bums. Unlike Bob, who obviously has only had to show up once and do
One
something.
shot in 11 minutes a game.
So going to the Winnipeg Jets and the Dallas Stars series. Again, what an entertaining series.
Really entertaining.
Obviously, with the Jets winning games 2 and 5, actually both with the final score 4-0, and then Dallas winning the rest 3-2, 5-2, 3-1, 2-1 in OT off of Mark Scheifele tripping penalty. That really, honestly, really has to string it for.
Because only minute and a half into overtime. It was something like that.
Something like that, because the tripping penalty came in within the last
Because I remember I got the notification on my phone that it was going to overtime, and I went to turn it on, and it was already shaking hands.
Yeah, Mark Scheifele took a tripping penalty 15 seconds left in regulation, and then the goal came a minute 33 into.
Which, by the way, condolences to Mark Scheifele and his entire family. Just completely unexpected death of his father. I think I saw a story. He literally called his coach or called his team that night, that right then and there, and says, "I'm playing tonight." And he went out there and scored Winnipeg's only goal of the game. Unfortunately, was not enough as Dallas took that one in overtime. Sadly, based on a penalty caused by Mark Scheifele. But yeah, what an amazing series that one was, man.
It really was.
4-2, Dallas takes it. Dallas in the Final Four for the third year in a row, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
And third year in a row and 3 of the last 5, because 2020 and then 23 to now 25. And then moving over to the other finished series in the West, Edmonton taking down, thankfully, the Vegas Golden Knights. Thank Christ. I know I'm rocking the jersey tonight, but I don't care. Thank God Vegas is down.
You don't like Vegas anymore? Or?
I'm sorry. Ever since the whole IR, Mark Stone, and the whole bullshit, I'm done with them.
I know it's a reason a lot of people hate them now is that whole situation.
Yeah, between that and them, practically trading up Mark Andre for pretty much a crumpled up one half-eaten Uncrustable.
And it's crumpled up 1.5 eaten Uncrustable. No, they give you an Uncrustable with the crust.
Yeah, but just how they treated the whole situation, I just don't like them.
For some reason, saw their future in Robin Lehner, and I don't think he's played a game for them since.
Nope.
Injury, and then he had a gambling problem.
Yeah,
learned some skills from Evander Kane.
I'm no gambling man, but I think Lehner might be a snake.
I'm not a gambling man, but I'd bet you any money that.
But yeah, it was almost it was kind of not really a gentleman's sweep. Vegas took Game 3 in Edmonton 4-3 off a goal with 0.4 seconds left.
I saw that. It was crazy.
0.4 seconds left, and then obviously Edmonton won the last 4-2, 5-4 in OT, 3-0, and a Kasperi Kapanen game winner, series winner, 1-0 in Game 5 in the Fortress.
Insane.
Which I wish he'd be able to do that for Pittsburgh, but no.
So we obviously know conference finals in the West. We got the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars. Starting on Wednesday night, Game 1 in Dallas. Who do we have winning this series?
Is Otter going to keep playing the way that he's been playing?
I'm going to stick to my bracket. I think Dallas takes this one.
Yeah, it's going to be... I'm sorry, it's going to be Dallas. I know they are neck and neck. I know the bets, the odds, they're both at -110. Skater-wise, they're kind of pretty even. I know, Edmonton, yes, has more offensive firepower. Dallas has some better defense, but
I'd say goaltending is much better.
These playoffs you need defense in these playoffs, man. Dallas, I think, has a much stronger defense. I mean, with Miro Heiskanen, if Miro Heiskanen wasn't back, it might be questionable. We got Miro Heiskanen, you got Thomas Harley, you got fucking you got Esa Lindell. I mean, Cody Ceci even has been playing pretty well.
But yeah, you also
Dallas is a better team just all around. They are a better team. I mean, Edmonton's defense is still pretty good as well.
But you got names like Darnell Nurse and freaking Evan Bouchard.
Other than that,
Yeah.
Brent Kulak Troy Stretcher is just kind
and
of
again, I'm going to keep going back to this statement because it's fucking true. Anywhere else, both those names would be third pair D-men best.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yep.
They all would be trash anywhere else.
At this point, I mean, yeah, he's old at this point, but when you go to a team like Dallas and Jamie Benn is not even one of the first maybe 6 names that you mentioned from that team anymore. Back 4 or 5 years, he might have been one of the first names he mentioned. But now he's like not even one of the first 7. I can probably name 7, 8 players before him. You got Wyatt Johnson, you got Mikko Rantanen, obviously you got, that's what we said, Thomas Harley, Esa Lindell, Miro Heiskanen, you got Jason Robertson, you got Jake Ottinger. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to have Jamie Benn still. Like that.
Wait, they still have Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. Like
that's another one. I
yeah,
completely forgot about Tyler Seguin.
They still fucking Tyler Seguin in there.
That's crazy. It's the fact that he's only 32 years old.
Yeah,
and he still forgot to mention
him. I think that's what's crazy.
33 now,
about
but still.
Dallas, like just how much depth they
have so much depth, man. The
and
fact that half these guys are still very young too.
Like, and they have and there's still a bunch of prospects with Texas.
They're gonna be a good team for quite some time, man. I've even seen Christian Cairo is doing very well down in Texas.
Who?
Exactly. But no, he's doing very, very well in the AHL right now. That whole team is doing very well in the AHL. As Bob makes another great save on a breakaway from, was that Nylander? No, Steven Lorenz. But, I mean, they said we just got to wait for the final of this series. Yeah. Hopefully we have a winner. Because that's right, we didn't really talk about this. How Game 7 of the Winnipeg St. Louis series ended up happening, because I think we cut recording literally shortly before that game-winning goal was scored. That second overtime was just as crazy as that first one. I remember, oh my god! And then I think it was literally said, "All right, we're not gonna be able to, have the result." Literally 5 minutes after we hit stop recording and scheduled to post it, Winnipeg scored. I'm literally getting ready to walk out and start heading home. Winnipeg shoots and scores the game winner. So, just unbelievable, man.
But yeah, I think Dallas. Because I didn't say what I said. I think Dallas will probably win this series, but obviously I had Edmonton going all the way. But I think, in all honesty, it's going to be Dallas.
Yeah, didn't you? I think you originally had Colorado beating Dallas, didn't you?
No.
Did you have Dallas from the beginning?
I had Dallas from the beginning.
I know.
I was back and
I know the whole world. I think was 50. That was one series where the whole world was like damn near 50-50 split on. Like that one was just such a tough one to call, and ended up being right because that one was one of the 2 in round 1 that went to 7 games. I think only 2 did. So I think it was Winnipeg and then Dallas.
Yeah, all the other ones didn't except for
Winnipeg, St. Louis, Dallas, Colorado.
I think we're the only 2 that went to 7.
Yeah. Everybody else went to 6, or 5. 3 of the 4 series, and the East went to 5.
Yeah, I don't think there was a sweep though, was there?
No.
Yeah, there was not a single sweep.
Yeah, three series went to 5, 3 series went to 6, and 2 of them went to 7.
I mean, we could be completely wrong. We could go into this and Connor McDavid could be Connor McDavid and carry them to a sweep. Who knows? Jake Ottinger might lose whatever magic he has going right now. And you never know what's going to happen in these playoffs, man. You really don't. Anything can happen. Hey, for your first period intermission entertainment, do our normal puck doku hurdle. Depending on how quickly we get this done, we'll do like the pyramid on here. If you guys want to play along, go ahead and pull up Sunday, May 18th's game, and feel free to play along.
Going for the columns, it's going to be St. Louis, the Sharks, and Minnesota. And then for the rows, it's going to be Detroit, Carolina, and CBJ.
For Detroit, St. Louis, David Perron.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, no, you're right. Never mind. I thought I said you got the wrong one.
No, I'm right. I'm not writing the typing, but I'm writing the column.
Can't spell David, but right. Eric Stahl, Carolina, Minnesota. Right? I believe. Yep.
And then didn't Cam Talbot do Minnesota there for a little while, as well as Detroit?
Yeah, Cam Talbot. Jake Wallman, Detroit, San Jose. We cooking. Not for much longer, probably.
Carolina, San Jose, Brent Burns.
Yeah, good pull.
Justin Falk, didn't he do St. Louis, Carolina?
Carolina?
Justin Falk. I thought he was in Carolina there for a hot minute.
Was he? Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think he was there before St. Louis. Present day. Yeah, okay. Good job. All right. So we just need the whole Columbus row. So Columbus, St. Louis, Columbus, San Jose, Columbus, Minnesota.
Did Jack Johnson play for any of the teams up top? Obviously, he played with Columbus, but did he play for Minnesota? Oh, no, he didn't play for San Jose.
I don't think so. So that can be like a last-second burner, I guess, if we have nothing else. Corpusalo has only been, what, Columbus, Ottawa?
Ottawa, Boston.
Boston, too, that's right. Bob has only been, what, Philly?
Columbus, Toronto, Florida.
Bob had a stay with Toronto?
Yes, oh, no, I'm sorry. I think of Freddie. Because Freddie did Anaheim, Toronto.
Anderson did not have to stay with anybody else there, I don't think.
Voracek was only Philly, Columbus. Started and finished in Columbus. Same thing with Cam Atkinson, or Atkinson, whatever. I might have to go down and drink one of my ghosts or my my pre-workout. I'm starting to die.
I'm trying to think.
Team who never played for Columbus. Rick Nash, I think it was only
Columbus, Boston,
and
New York
Rangers.
The Rags.
For some reason, I'm thinking goalie has to go somewhere here, but where? Anthony Yemi, I don't think he ever played for Columbus.
Jake Allen played for St. Louis, Montreal, New Jersey.
I don't think he played for Columbus. I don't really know that can be another.
I'm trying to think of journeyman goaltenders.
Jonathan Quick with his long stint in Columbus Blue Jackets legend.
Why am I drawing a blank? It's only a game. Why do you have to be so mad?
What the hell? Brizgalov.
Ilya Brizgalov did.
I have no idea where all he played.
Philly, Columbus, Arizona.
Like Brian Elliott, I know he jumped around.
Brent Johnston has been around. Tomas Vokun's been around.
Vokun, I think Vokun was only like 3 or 4 different teams. He wasn't around too much.
Still, there's a few teams. Tim Thomas played for St. Louis, Boston. Not Dallas.
And anybody playing along is screaming a name into their phone right now. Like there's somebody screaming.
It's this guy, you fucking morons! Kind of thing.
You know, I know for a fact there's somebody screaming a name right now. I can't. I'm blanking so hard.
I'm gonna go snort a line of pre-workout. I'm only kidding.
Yeah, see that?
That is really irresponsible.
I'm trying to remember Zach Werenski.
I think his whole career has been up there.
Okay.
Seth Jones, I think he's only done Columbus, Chicago, and
Florida.
Florida. Bobby Lou obviously wouldn't fit there anywhere.
Claude Giroux won't fit because he's only been Ottawa.
Claude Giroux's nowhere.
Yeah.
He's only been in Philly, Florida, Ottawa.
I don't know why I just thought of him, man. Like, he never plays.
Okay, we're naming other Flyers with Atkinson and Voracek and like a Daniel Briere. I know he jumped around.
Buffalo, Philly.
It was just Buffalo and Philly?
Just Buffalo, Philly.
And I swear I thought he had a stint with St. Louis at least.
No.
Oh, did James Neal play for Columbus?
No.
No? I know he had a very short stint with St. Louis. Very short. He done by 18 games, something like that, stint with St. Louis.
Joe Morrow.
Casper Kapanen never played for Columbus. I'm trying to think like early Columbus days.
Don't mind me.
Oh yeah, best sound in the world. It's even better when it's a beer, but.
I'm sorry.
The Welch's grape goes. I love the smell of grape, but I hate the taste of grape.
Yeah, good old Ghost Energy. We're not sponsored, by the way.
Just shouting them out.
Yeah, I would love to be sponsored by Ghost Energy, but no, we are not sponsored by them. So, hit me up. Our emails on our Twitter bio.
What about like an Eric Goodbranson? He's another journeyman defenseman.
He did play for Columbus.
Did he play for any of those other three?
Oh.
Maybe like a Minnesota?
Oh. Florida. Didn't he spend some time in the Burgh? Columbus. I don't remember anybody else.
I want to say LA. Tyler Toffoli didn't go to Columbus, I don't think.
Nope.
Matt Duchene, I think he spent a little bit of time. Did he not spend a little bit of time in Columbus?
I don't remember.
Because I know Colorado, Nashville, and Dallas.
I don't remember. Man, it's like we do this every fucking week.
First five the last couple of tries we've been like struggling with the first two. We at least cooked through the first 6 here. It's just because Columbus is just so newer to, I guess Minnesota is too, and we got 2 there. But, oh man. My best guess that I have right now is like an Eric Goodbranson, but where else would he have been?
Or where did we say we were going to keep him who did we say we were going to keep in our back pockets?
It was a goalie, I don't remember. Brizgalov.
Where is it going to be? Steve Mason. Columbus.
Made Columbus St. Louis, I think.
Well, let's throw it out there.
No, I thought that was about to be an amazing poll. Oh.
Another one I just thought of, Steve Ott.
Steve Ott, where would he go?
St. Louis.
I know St. Louis.
He did St. Louis, Dallas, Buffalo.
Did he even play for Columbus, though?
No, not that I know of.
JVR not spend some time over in Columbus?
I can't keep track of the Van Riemsdyk brothers.
I always get them mixed up, honestly.
I'm pretty sure he did, but I don't think he would have been with St. Louis or any of those other 3. Dang.
I'm out.
I'm blanking hard.
No, I didn't.
No, Brizgalov, it's not what we thought.
So
Marion Gaborik, Mikko Koivu, Goose Nyquist, Ian Cole.
Thomas
I told there's one of the journeyman defensemen. I told you.
Mike fucking Rupp.
Anthony Duclair. Oh my God, yeah.
Rafi
Nyquist
Torres.
again. Wenberg.
Ray Whitney. Ryan Dzingel.
Brandon Saad. Mike Sillinger again, of course.
Ian fucking Cole. Ty Conklin. Delzato.
Jordan Leopold. Wow. That's a name I haven't heard in about 11 fucking years. Jordan Leopold. Wow.
Jeez Louise, man.
All right. Main topic for this evening. We've definitely done this.
Sorry.
We've done this in years past. I think we might have done it every year thus far. Our UFA predictions are just talking about the top 25 to 30-ish. Maybe even go up to like this decent names all the way up to even 40, I'd say. For the UFAs, where we think these guys could end up, we think they just might re-sign, where we think a lot of these guys could end up. I think we should start at the bottom though. Start down like near like the 40 range. I think a good name to start off on is number 40, being Taylor Radish from Washington. He's only 27 years old, so he's still pretty young.
I think he's definitely going to stay out east. Now my concern is, you know, is he going to stay in Washington or is he going to go down to Tampa, Florida? Where Darren Radish has seen a whole lot of success down there. Mm-hmm. Or not a whole lot of success, but he's made a pretty good name for himself in the defensive corps.
Go play with his brother.
Because I know
again for the second time in their career.
I know during the 21 run, the 2020-21 run, he got caught up from Syracuse and then was on their taxi squad. Like he was dressed and everything in case
something would happen.
And then obviously right after that he went up to Chicago. I think he's probably gonna re-sign with
Washington. I think it could happen. I could see maybe somebody like Boston picking him up. I know they're going to start needing some help with a lot of the guys that they lost this year. Honestly, I re-signing maybe somebody like Boston, Buffalo, just teams that need help, as much help as they can possibly get. Another one coming from Washington is Andrew Mangiapane.
He's re-signing.
Yeah, I can see him just re-signing. Yeah, I can even see him maybe possibly reuniting with Calgary, going back over there. Maybe even somebody like, depending on what happens with like a Brock Besser, maybe I can see him maybe going to somebody like Vancouver, because they also have to worry about Pius Suter. They have to worry about if they're going to end up keeping Thatcher Demko with his health problems that he can't stay healthy. So man, I can see him going somewhere like those guys, but yeah, that's another one that's kind of tough to tell there.
Next pick, one that I want to go over is Brett Burns, Chewie, the Wookiee.
I think he's probably going to call it. I think depending on how deep Carolina goes in these playoffs, it's probably just about time for him to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, the man's 40 years old at this point. Like
he is 40, yeah. His age is 30.
I know. Or so. That's why I said it.
I thought you said he's about 40.
No, I said he's 40. Come on, Kyle. Listen up, bud. Yeah, you're right. He's old. Yeah. I'm sorry.
And I mean, going right below him, Dmitry Orlov. He's 33 as well. Another defenseman there on Carolina. That's on the verge of potentially leaving or testing the market. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about him. Could maybe again go reunite with Boston over there. Could reunite with Washington, but I really don't think Washington needs the help. That honestly wouldn't be one that I would hate to see in Pittsburgh, but I mean, he's a little older than I'd like, with what our team already is. But I think he'd be a decent replacement for Letang, because I know Letang is going to be questionable to start the season. He might be questionable to play at all. He might be done this week. It all depends on how he heals from the surgery he's had this offseason.
Well, the one person I would like to pick up as a Penguins fan, and who's still relatively young / in their prime, at 34, it's age 29, number 34 on here, Victor Olofsson.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
He's still a young guy, If he doesn't sign with Vegas, I'd like to see him come out and play for the Steel City.
He's pretty solid too.
Well, I was talking more like defenseman to replace Tanger.
Well, I'm saying for a youth standpoint, not taking Tanger out or our defensive core, our awful defensive core out of the picture.
Yeah.
Which will actually probably get better after that, but that's besides the point.
And going back down, Jeff Skinner, I can see him just re-signing with Edmonton. He seems to be in a good fit there. Actually gets to have some playoff experience being in a team that can make the playoffs.
Because his time in Carolina? Nope.
When he was with Carolina, they sucked. Of course, he goes to Buffalo. Buffalo has sucked for 15 years now.
Yes, a long time.
I think this was their 14th year not making the playoffs in a row. 13th or 14th year in a row.
Yeah, it was.
Longest active streak in the league. This is another one in the top defenseman names that I think Pittsburgh could go after, going up to number 31 with Vlad Gavrikov. I think he could be a very good addition to the Pens defense, especially if we end up letting Matt Grzelcyk walk as well. I think he could be a very good fit in our system. Again, it's tough to tell when we don't have a head coach right now to be able to debate who might fit in with the system. Again, we might even bring in somebody that we've never heard of, somebody from the AHL that is done very, very well. But again, time will tell with that. Corey Perry,
retire.
I could see it definitely happening.
No. He's going to resign with I'm trying to think of a name.
Where do people go for their career to die? Buffalo.
There are a lot of hot ladies up in Sudbury that can go up and
Apparently there is in Chicago, according to Corey Perry.
No, it's just moms. He just goes after
He
moms.
likes moms up there.
But no, if he does play, you're at that age where you don't really want to change where you're at. If he does, just re-sign for Edmonton for another year and finish it there. Connor Brown, that's one name that has honestly just kind of been a disappointment his whole career. No offense to him, but he has never lived up to the hype that he had coming out of Erie and coming into the NHL. He's just never been able to reach that potential that he had around his name. But I think he does fit in well with this Edmonton team. I could just see him re-signing, smaller, maybe 2-3 year deal worth $2 million, $3 million a year. No matter where he goes, it's not going to be anything massive.
No.
That's what she said.
Yanni Gord, another one. I can just see that being a quick re-sign for Tampa Bay. He really loves it there. The fans and the team loves him having him there. Another one I think I can just see him re-signing and staying there.
Yeah, the amount of success that he hasn't had in Tampa versus anywhere else, it's ridiculous. So Tampa and that system, if John Cooper does end up staying for the long run, Yanni Gord will succeed or will continue to be successful under that John Cooper system.
Oh yeah. Eric Robinson, no offense, I don't know too much about him to talk too much about him, so I think we might skip over him. The next two are the other two defensemen that I think Pittsburgh should have a chance at going after, both being Aaron Ekblad and Ivan Provorov.
Well, the only concern I have with Aaron Ekblad is he's obviously on the final year of an 8-year deal. He's making $7.5 million per year, and he's on a minimal no-trade clause, whereas Ivan Provorov is obviously on the 6th year, $6.75 million per year, and he doesn't have a trade clause.
Yeah, out of those two, I think I would honestly definitely prefer Provorov. That might be kind of the hot take or kind of an unpopular answer there.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's just a tad bit younger, being a year younger than Ekblad.
But also a left-handed defenseman, which we could use a couple of left-handed defensemen on the line.
That'd be actually really nice.
I'd very much like having him there.
And plus, for granted, it's only $250,000 cheaper. Technically, you could get away with that and still be good to make a couple minor signings for your depth or your AHL squad or for a two-way squad or a two-way contract.
And Aaron Ekblad has kind of been on the downfall the last, I'd say, probably 2-3 years. He definitely was not as good as he was in his first 8 years in the league and since he's been drafted. But that one, dead seriously, I could see that one being a Buffalo signing. I could honestly see Buffalo trying to go after him.
I mean, considering all their top defensemen in Buffalo are lefties, you do need to add a couple righties in there. You need to have a decent balance, whether it's threes or 2 and 4 or whatever.
Yeah,
you need to have a good.
Ekblad would be a good possibility for that.
Yeah.
Especially being paired up with somebody like a Rasmus Dahlin.
Yeah.
That'd be a good.
Even an Owen Power too. I mean,
you got the old man. I'm going to use that term lightly, but the old man. I'm sorry, the middle-aged man, because I know people like Sid who hate the phrase old man. The middle-aged man, Ekblad, and young guy in Power could really utilize.
You can't call Sid old. You just have to add an to the end, because every time
older
somebody would say old, he'd be like older.
Yeah, he's older than some of the rest of the guys.
Christian Dvorak, again, I don't know too much about him. I only really honestly remember him being from Montreal. I'm not too familiar with his career path. I could see him just re-signing there with Montreal having the year that they did. Probably don't want to make too many major changes because did they make the playoffs?
Montreal?
Yeah.
Yeah, they played
Washington.
They played Washington. That's right. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Have you been paying attention to this postseason? Kyle,
I knew.
Kyle, get in the system.
I knew they could remember if they made the playoffs, if they were that close. I knew that they were right on the cusp of making it.
Kyle, get into the system. It's 20. We're almost done with the fucking second round.
Montreal made the playoffs, other than this year.
2021. 2021. Get into the system, okay? It's
almost the same for some.
Listen, we're watching the second, the house game of the fucking second round right now. Get into the system.
The second round has felt like it's lasted 2 months. So
2 weeks.
It has felt.
It says this round is shorter than round 1.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It's felt like it's been a lot longer because it's been only one game 7 for this one, but round 1 we saw 2.
Get rid of the program, freshman. God.
Marcus Johansson, that's another one. I'm not too familiar with much of what he does, so I can't give much.
Being an older guy, I mean, he provides the experience. He's a good middle six forward for Minnesota, consider who they have up there on their top line. But he's gonna stay in Minnesota.
I think so.
I think he loves the Twin Cities. The Twin Cities, most of their fans love him.
He's one of the fan favorites over there. I can't see Minnesota being too happy if they let him walk.
Oh, no.
JVR, he's another one. He's up there in age, being 36 years old now. It's again one of those, when you get to like that 35, 36 range, that's when you start thinking about the 1-2 year deals. You just take what you can get, where you can get it. So I can see just being another re-signing. I can see him going to somebody maybe like, maybe like in New Jersey or something. I don't know. Like, New Jersey can definitely use a little bit of help in that middle six. They put up a fight against Carolina.
And considering Jack Hughes can't fucking stay healthy now,
yeah.
and I know his injury, when he went down against Vegas with his collision with Jack Eichel, it was poor timing. It was a shitty circumstance for him.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, but just in case if he continues to go down, well, guess what? You have somebody like Marcus Johansson who can step up and play top 6 minutes. Granted, might be in the second line, but he is able to play those top 6 minutes and produce on a consistent level.
Andrei Kuzmenko, this is a kind of, he's almost 30, he's 29 years old, he's still pretty young, and I know he hasn't had too much experience in the league yet. I think he had a couple years with Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. I think he just went over to LA there in the deadline. But again, I'm not too familiar with what he's done.
He has 11 goals and 37 points in 66 games.
Okay, yeah. So he's a pretty decent bottom six or middle six forward there. I'm just trying to think of teams. Again, that's another one I could see maybe Boston going after with all the guys that they lost would be Brandon Carlo, Jake DeBrusk, obviously the biggest one being Brad Marchand. I could see that being another middle six guy that Boston tries to pick up.
I think a big one, or one of the bigger ones here in the top 15 to 20 range is obviously Jack Roslovic, only being 28. He did obviously amazing in Columbus, where he started his career. He did great he was consistent in the Big Apple with the Rags, and now he's doing pretty decent in Carolina, finishing up a 1-year contract at a $2.8 million. In 81 games, he has 22 goals and 39 points. So, he's just coming into his prime. He's young. He can fit in the middle six. Obviously, he's doing pretty good in Carolina. I can see him staying out east, maybe in the Metro, go back to the Bluecoats, or I'll even go back to Columbus, who's missing that offensive firepower with the loss of Johnny Gaudreau. So
I mean, you can't use the word replace Johnny Gaudreau, obviously.
Well, I mean, as a human, no, but as a hockey player,
as a body, as a player, as a body on the ice, as a player.
Yeah,
as a body on the ice, it'd be a good replacement. When it comes to scoring wise and depth wise, that's a guy you want to have.
I don't think he can replace the scoring aspect of it, but I think coming from more of a playmaking asset and like getting those opportunities, he can definitely fill those shoes.
Oh, for sure.
And wear down that goaltender, because you might not get the tally, but you might wear the goalie down enough or their D down enough to have your teammate get the goal.
Yeah.
Which a goal's a goal. Don't ask them how, just ask how many, kind of thing.
Evgeny Dadonov is another one of those. He's kind of bounced around his whole career, been just about everywhere. Getting to that age where you want to start thinking that 1-2 year contract. I think it fit for him. I think he's played here previously, but a team out west, I'm thinking maybe a team like San Jose.
Yeah, some of the young, they're going to be getting some youth here in the next couple of years with how
bringing that veteranism guy like him. Definitely hasn't been elite to any level, but I think anybody would be. He'd be good bottom three or bottom line forward to help just about anybody. Matt Grzelcyk, like I said, this is one of Pittsburgh's decisions that they need to make. He hasn't been horrible, but he definitely hasn't been worth what we've been paying him these last 2 seasons.
I mean, just finishing up a 1 year, $2.750 million contract, or $75 million whatever, with a full release, whatever. 82 in his 82 games, he has 1 goal and 40 points.
I mean, if we were to re-sign him, I would be okay with this amount. I just don't want us to pay any more. Maybe bump it up to 3. But I would not really want to pay him any more than that.
Yeah, 3 tops would definitely be the most I'd go, unless if he continues, like if he improves.
Yeah.
If production wise he gets better, if he's a great person on the PK, if he can run the second power play unit as well as anybody in the first, then I'd be happy with paying him more. But it's prove me wrong point.
Riley Smith, fuck him. I really don't give a shit what he does. Suter,
fucking stay in Vegas for all I care.
He stays far away from Pittsburgh because you really didn't fucking like it here, so fuck you.
He's going to resign with Vegas.
I think I can just see him resigning and staying there, yeah. I mean...
Fucking good. Stay away.
Suter, this is honestly one that I could see him going to a powerhouse, helping out a team that has, kind of been struggling in that first round or... first, second round the last couple of years. I know they just won back-to-back a couple years ago. I could see him going somewhere like Tampa. I think he'd be a great replacement for Steven Stamkos there on the top 6.
Well, he'd beat that second line because that top line of Kucherov, Gensel, and Points has been.
I think he could be a very, very solid. I think he could do good in that middle 6.
He'd probably be the middle 6.
But again, body on the ice wise, he'd be a decent replacement for Stamkos. And being in a system like just a very heavy point in scoring team like Tampa Bay, I think he would fit in very well there.
The next 3 all with
Kyle Palmieri's only 34 years old.
Yeah,
dude, he's one of those you think he'd be 42.
I thought he was older.
Yeah, and he was way older than that.
I was gonna say the next 3 players: Kyle Palmieri from the Islanders, Jamie Benn from the Dallas Stars, Claude Giroux from Ottawa. I can see all staying, signing those 1-2 year contracts. Maybe a 3 year if you're Kyle Palmieri, but I can also see them signing at least a 1 or 2 year contract with the teams they were on.
I mean, Claude Giroux, honestly, I wouldn't put it past seeing a reunite with Philly, bringing him back for a year.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I just imagine him wanting to stay up in Ottawa a little bit more.
Or staying up, somewhere he's familiar with. I don't think I can see him going to a new team. Going back to a team that he used to play for, or just staying with.
I say if he were to move, he'd probably be back to Philly. But if it's not retirement, then he'll probably do a 1 or 2.
In my opinion, I think this guy should be top 5. This next one being Brock Besser out of Vancouver. I don't know why he's as far down as 11. I really think he should be top 3 on this list.
Injuries and personal issues have really plagued his past couple of years.
But, I think I can see him going to a young, upcoming team that's has just not quite reached that skill mark that they need to. Somewhere that I personally think he could fit in very, very well in. Anaheim. Put him with Trevor Zegras. That could be a very good line. And that could be a very interesting thing to see.
Next up is the Rat, and I can see him staying in Florida.
Yeah.
I know before the trade, I think I saw an interview with him, shortly after he got to Florida, because he sat out for a couple weeks due to injury, and he was like, "Yeah, I've always liked Florida from an opponent's standpoint. I've always liked their system and how they play." Their physicality, the style that Paul Maurice has. So he's like, if I was going to be traded anywhere, this is definitely going to be one of the places on the top of my list. So I do imagine Brad Marchand wanting to stay in Florida for another year or two before he calls it quits.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Number 9, Sam Bennett.
Staying in Florida.
Yeah. Keep him away from everybody else. Nobody else wants him. Brock Nelson. Here's one I could see him. There's one team that comes to mind that made a bunch of moves last offseason, big moves last offseason, and it didn't work very well. No. So I think this team now needs to get as much help as they could possibly get. There's actually 2 names here in the final top 9 that I can see this team going after, and that's the Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of moves this offseason and it obviously did not work out very well.
There's one thing that I have against Brock Nelson that I know can kind of be contradicted because of who Nashville currently has. Age.
Yeah.
Stammer's getting up there. Riley's getting up there. Marchessault's getting up there.
Is getting there.
Who?
Yossi.
Oh, I heard Yoshi. I was like, Yoshi's a Nintendo character. But yeah, Yossi's getting up there. Pekka is... I don't know how old not Pekka.
He's better.
Yusi, yeah. How old Yusi is.
Yeah, he's getting up there. But the other name in that top 9 that I could see going there is Mikael Granlund. I could see him going there as well.
I'm sorry, he's staying in Dallas.
He's staying in Dallas.
You think so?
He's having a good playoff right now with Dallas.
But you got to think, they just paid Wyatt Johnson all that money. They're going to end up... I think they already did give Rantanen a whole shit ton of money now. I think Odd is getting... I don't know if they started paying Odd yet or not, but if not, he's going to have to start getting paid very soon. They are going to be paying a lot of money to these stars that they got coming up. And they're paying Robertson a lot of money right now. I don't think Thomas Harley is on the big pay yet, so he's going to be getting there soon.
I don't know.
I just don't know if Granlund is going to make unless he's willing to play for $3 to $4 million, then sure, I could see it happening. But if not, he's definitely going to have to be looking somewhere that he can still shine. That's a team that needs some help, and I think Nashville is one of those teams. They may not go after both of them, but I could see them going after at least one of those 2 guys.
Or Detroit, depending on where Patrick Kane ends up. Yeah. I mean, the man's 36 years old. He's coming off a 1-year contract, getting paid $4 million with a no movement clause or no trade clause. So, depending on where Patrick Kane lands, they can pick up Granlund or Besser or whoever.
I think I could see Patrick Kane staying put. I mean, he's been fighting injury. This could be the year he might call it quits early. I know Taves was only 37 when he called it quits. And I know Kane might follow his footsteps and call it quits pretty early.
I saw some in an interview kind of in the middle of the season, saying his son and DeBrincat's son have a really good. Are really close, and he doesn't. He's worried that if he would leave, he'd ruin that. Yeah, and that's. I know his kid. They're both young, but he.
Still, it's just the young friendship kind of thing that definitely will, lifelong memories, future line mates, hopefully.
Yeah, honestly, I lied. I guess Ryan Donato. I guess that's another one with his age. I guess that's another one Nashville could honestly be looking at too. He's a little bit younger than Nelson and Granlund. He's only 29, so he's still got that youth energy to him, but I don't know how much money he's going to be looking for.
He just finished up a 2-year, $2 million deal.
And he's kind of a bottom 6 guy, so I really don't know where I could see him going. Pittsburgh is honestly a possibility. We definitely need some help in that bottom 6. We need some help everywhere. But
the Islanders going to the Long Island.
Honestly, yeah, they could be
going to the very short island
kind
now.
of a replacement for the loss of Brock Nelson.
You didn't pick up what I was putting down. The very short island.
I picked it up. Nikolai Ehlers. This one's tough. He could go, I think, just about anywhere.
I feel like Winnipeg would like him to stay in Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. He might want to stay in Winnipeg because that's where he spent his entire career. In Winnipeg, let's see. He's just finishing up a 7-year contract, $6 million with a minimal no movement clause. Trade. He had 24 goals and 63 points in 69 games this year. Nice.
Honestly, what I could see happening, if Vancouver doesn't re-sign Besser, I could see Ehlers possibly going over to Vancouver.
Just how much are they willing to pay him, kind of thing. It's just the whole monetary thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump up to number 2 because 1 and 3 can kind of go hand in hand. Matt Duchene, 34 years out of Dallas. This year, he's finishing up a 1-year, $3 million contract. No trade clause. 82 games, 30 goals. He was a point per game all season, or all this year. So I could see him. If he's gonna look if he stays in Dallas, obviously he's gonna take a pay cut.
Yeah.
But he'll be 34, looking at staring down the barrel, 35 years old. So
I could see him being added to one of those teams that have just kind of been right there on the bubble of first round exits or right there missing the playoffs. Team that comes to mind is maybe somebody like St. Louis.
Well, when you have people Jordan Kyrou and Pavel Buchnevich Robert Thomas. St. Louis might not be able to fit him into the system. I'm thinking more along the lines of Seattle and Utah. Those bubble teams that
Utah.
It's just okay. Who's that one player that could take us from a French team to just right there on the cut line? Mm-hmm. Just maybe barely above the cut line, Florida just scored again. Maybe just above the cut line, like Montreal was this year, but right there into the postseason to dance with Lord Stanley.
Mm-hmm. Trying to see what happened here. Oh my god!
What a
garbage! That's just a garbage goal, man.
Just a nice snipe off the face-off.
Well, all right. The Carolina Hurricanes will be playing Florida Panthers in round 3.
All right. Speaking of Toronto, the last 2 players, obviously out of Toronto, at the number 3 slot would be John Tavares, 34 years of age, finishing up a 7-year deal, cap hit $11 million.
Yeah, no matter where he goes, he's not going to get that amount of money again.
No.
There's no chance in hell.
Especially with how he's playing. I'm sorry, he's not.
Honestly, a team that I could see him sticking in the Eastern Conference, a team that I could possibly see him going to, is honestly somebody like the Rangers, maybe.
No, he's not going to go to the Rangers after being a lifelong Islander. Going to the right, I'm sorry, that's a sin. That's
a death sentence for him.
The Islanders fans already fucking hate him. Let's not hate him more. It goes both ways. That's the thing. As long as you play for the Islanders, you don't go to the Rangers and vice versa.
I said if he's gonna stay, because I feel like he honestly is gonna stay in the East. I've seen something, but the one I'm leaning towards I'm leaning more towards Ottawa. But I said the other 2 I had in mind was
Ottawa would be nice. Ottawa could be good.
Ottawa, I think Ottawa, Boston, and New Jersey were kind of my other 2.
Ottawa, I could see him in Ottawa.
I was gonna say I'm kind of going with the Boston vibes with an older guy, middle 6 forward, a middle 6 guy in Boston who, again, as you stated multiple times beforehand, Boston needs those forwards to kind of help rebuild, and having a couple veteran guys will really help them.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm gonna piggyback off your statement there, Kyle.
Yeah.
Boston needs those guys. Johnny
Yeah.
T could potentially be one of those guys.
And then the number one name, everybody's talking about it. What's going to happen? This is very close, very similar story to 2016 and the Steven Stamkos situation. What's going to happen with Mitch Marner? Where's Mitch Marner going to go? Is he going to re-sign with Toronto?
Mitch
Is he
Marner?
going to go somewhere? Yeah, Mitchell Marner.
Bitch O'Barney, right?
Honestly, I could see this being kind of like a Steven Stamkos situation where it's going to be the hype all the way up until the free agent deadline, all the way up into the free agency. He's going to talk with a couple of different teams. Everybody's like, oh, he's going here. Oh, he's for sure. Everybody was positive that Stamkos was going to Toronto. Everybody was so confident Stamkos was coming to Toronto just for him to re-sign with Tampa Bay that year.
Yeah, and on the trade deadline eve, he re-signs with Tampa, sticking with them for another 8 years.
Yeah. I could honestly see that being a very similar situation with Mitch Marner. I could very easily see them being, honestly, with how this game is turning out, maybe not, but this might be a situation where he says, hey, I'm testing the market, I'm possibly going to be leaving until very last second. Just kidding, I'm resetting with Toronto.
Yeah,
But if not, two teams come to mind. Pittsburgh is one of them because his history with Kyle Dubas, I really think Dubas would have the interest in trying to bring him over. And I think with him playing with either Crosby or Malkin would be insane.
And
even making him his own line, maybe down on the third line.
Yeah, I was going to say...
With like a Rucker,
That's the
get the
thing.
two young kids, like a Rucker, McGrody, and Billy Koivunen.
Yeah, Kyle and I were talking about this off the air, just, sitting around bullshitting, and, it's almost like a Phil Kessel situation,
Yeah.
Yeah, all the hype might be around, Phil Kessel bonding with either Sid or Gino, but no, we were proven wrong, and he had his own line, the HBK line, which is highly successful during their first cup run. Marner could potentially do the same thing. Marner, almost like Sid and the kids. Marner and the kids. Even though Marner is a kid.
The MGK would have or HBK would have the MMK line, like McGrody, Marner, Koivunen. That could be sick.
That'd be really sick.
If not, a team that, again, this is another one that I think we just mentioned him briefly, somebody like Utah. I think he could fit in very well over in Utah. You have players like Dylan Gunther, you got Clayton Keller, you got Lawson Krause. You got a very young, talented team over there. And bringing in somebody like Mitch Marner could just be that last little hoorah, that last little oomph that they need to get over that hump, maybe get into a playoff spot next year.
Well, I was going to say Seattle because, a lot of Seattle, great, they have great puck movers, they have great, playmakers, but they don't really have a whole lot of players to be able to finish the play, to actually put the rubber in the net.
Yeah.
And Marner could potentially do that. He does have a nice, wrister. He does have a knack for the net. So I could see him also fit in Seattle.
Yeah.
That was the other one I had. Was Seattle? I know Utah was kind of was one of my last three choices, but
Also, we'll pull this up real quick. Believe it or not, Seattle only has, or at the moment, only has $1.97 million of cap space right now. So I'm sure they're not going to be re-signing not a lot of the guys that are on the team right now. So I'm sure that if they wanted to, they'd let some guys walk, maybe some that they don't want to free up at probably at least 10, 11, 12 mil that Marner's going to be asking for.
Or also try to trade up, use some trades for the for the draft. So I think people often forget, and myself included, there are going to be some teams that are going to be trying to be aggressive at this trade deadline. And I know this draft class tends to be is a little bit weaker compared to years past and years coming.
and I know next year's
is stacked, but
stacked.
but take advantage of the very few great players of this draft. There are 15 of them. They're amazing.
If you guys could guess the top 5 teams with the most amount of cap space right now, who would you guess?
Chicago, Detroit.
No, not Detroit. I agree with Chicago.
Chicago's close. Chicago's 8th.
Okay.
Okay.
I know it's not Detroit. Obviously, it's not Toronto. Not Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's 9th. We're close.
Neither... Or... Buffalo might be up there, but the other two New York teams definitely aren't.
Correct. Buffalo's 7th, sorry.
Yeah, Buffalo would have been the closest out of all 3 New York teams. Neither Florida team.
We have mentioned a good majority of these teams tonight.
So Dallas is no. Carolina's no.
Colorado's probably not either.
No.
Nashville has to be up there.
They just missed got there 6th
Oh.
for available cap space.
By
about less than $1 million.
Utah has to be up there.
Number 5 has the most. They have $7.72 million of cap space right now.
Okay, so Utah's 5. Then we got Colorado's not going to be up there. Minnesota might be on the fence. Like they might be 7, right?
No, Minnesota actually
Towards the
has
bottom.
barely. Minnesota has $36,000 of cap space. They could pay somebody to play for about 3 games.
Let's see. Moving Pacific to Atlantic.
I think Pacific.
Vancouver has to be up there.
No.
Is it one of the 3 California teams?
2 of the 3 California teams.
So not LA, so it's going to be Anaheim and San Jose.
4 and 3 respectively.
So we're just missing 1 and 2.
Yeah.
All right. Any more in the Pacific?
No. Yes. Sorry, yes. Up north.
So not Vancouver, Seattle.
Calgary.
Calgary is number 2.
We're missing number 1.
Out
What?
east, Metro.
Columbus.
Columbus has $18.2 million of cap space right now.
Well, you do realize that they were below the cap basement because of Johnny Gaudreau, but they got a pass in the league. They're like, we get it, you're fine.
Yeah.
So I fucking should have guessed Columbus.
Yeah.
Dang it.
That's why, Utah, honestly, Ehlers, I think, could even go to somebody like Anaheim, too. Anaheim or San Jose.
That was actually one of the other ones
those top 5 guys can go just about anywhere in all those teams that have space. Nashville still has, Nashville's in 6th still. With all the signs that they made last offseason, they still have $7 million of cap space, which is crazy. Colin's just loving this right now.
Yes! Let's go! Yes! Cry, baby! Cry! Let's go! I love this! This is what I live for! Yeah!
I cannot wait to turn on Steve Dangle's stream here shortly. Oh, man.
Here, hold on. We'll talk about it here in a second off the air. But
All right, while we are letting the last, 4 or 5 minutes of Toronto's season come to an end, just a couple things that happened, outside of, free agency and outside of the playoffs. The Philadelphia Flyers hiring Rick Tocchet as the new head coach, which I fucking hate that so much, dude.
That.
I hate that so much. I did not want Philadelphia to have a good coach, man, and that's... Oh, that one's rough.
and then Joe Quenneville is announced as the Anaheim Ducks head coach. So this is probably about 10 days ago, so with Niagara, the Ice Dogs, cleaning fucking house after an OHL review, which I am not surprised.
And we kind of saw that one coming. I mean, yeah.
Honestly, it's well deserved because just how garbage they've been of everything they've done over the last few years in that organization. Good, clean.
At this point, I might as well throw some money together to buy the freaking franchise and be like, hey, here you go, fresh start. Let's go.
I feel bad for the fans of Niagara. Over the year, I've talked to a few of them that have come to Erie and that, but them I feel bad for. But just in general, the organization itself, no,
It's
I
a
don't.
joke.
Toronto with the empty net.
I mean, your season's on the line. What else? You have nothing to lose.
And bingo.
6-1, game's over.
I'm trying to keep this close because the laptop's ahead, but alright. Hey, remember? We want Florida. We want Carolina. What happened now? Let's go!
Yet another Game 7 playoff by the Toronto Maple laughs. Man, oh man. Are we stuck in like a time loop or a time machine where we just keep seeing the same day back and forth?
Groundhog's Day, I swear.
We're living a live Groundhog Day, to be honest with you, man. It's every year with this team, man. Yeah, that's about all we're waiting for to wrap up this episode. We don't want to, again, end it without knowing the outcome last episode, but we kind of had to because it was pushing midnight here.
And we all had
Yeah, two of the
just
three.
about quarter after 10 p.m. here right now.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say at the time, 2 of the 3 of us had to work, and
Early
now
morning.
all of us have to work in the morning. But whatever.
This game's just about over, so we can just about wrap this up and say prediction for Carolina, Florida. I don't know if I said this off recording, if I said this at the beginning of this recording. It's going to be Carolina because I think Toronto did give them enough of a beating to where I don't know if they're going to have enough left in them to get past Carolina.
If I can remember last year, Florida and Carolina in the conference final, it was in 6 last year?
No.
Oh, wasn't?
In the conference final. So, sit between the last full season lockout and present day. This is Carolina's 5th Eastern Conference Finals. Guess how many games they've won?
Like 1?
4.
Wow.
They won the series back in 2006 when they won the cup. And they haven't won a game since. They lost in 2009 to the Penguins in 4. They lost in 2019 to the Boston in 4. And they lost in 2023 to the Florida Panthers in 4. They are 4-12 since the NHL lockout. Since Sidney Crosby came into the league.
In the conference finals.
In the conference finals. Specifically, the conference finals.
That's insane.
So, I don't know. They obviously have that haunting them. You know, that as a little backstory. But I don't know if they're coming back with a different vengeance, with more confidence, with more swagger.
They primarily kicked the shit out of New Jersey up and down the ice for 5 games. New Jersey, I think the one they won was in overtime.
Yeah.
Kicked the shit out of Washington up and down the ice for 5 games, just as bad. Again, maybe did they waste too much energy on those 2 series to be able to take on Florida?
But the one thing with Carolina is they've had some time in between series.
Yeah.
Between rounds 1 and 2. And between rounds 2 and now round 3.
That series ended, what, like 6 days ago already?
That's a good question.
5-6 days ago?
Because obviously Game 1 will be in Carolina on Tuesday.
I want to say Game 5 was either Tuesday or Wednesday.
So
by the time the next series starts.
The May 15th. So 5 days. It'll be 5 days in between Game 5 of the Carolina-Washington series and Game 1 of the Florida-Carolina series.
They haven't just put the graphic up there. It's over. They still have a blank there. Oh, technically it's not over yet.
Well, we know it's.
Dude, I'm sorry. Like, there are very few fans that I truly feel bad for. Like Toronto fans, I truly feel bad for. Steve Dangle's one of them. He has been through so much bullshit in his life. He's only seen 5 playoff series wins this millennium. 5! This fucking millennium! I feel so bad for him, but he continues to torture himself with this franchise.
I mean, he wrote a book about how much this team has ruined his life.
But he still loves them. He still loves them.
That's how we feel about our Erie Otters and our Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, we've seen 3 cups in our lifetime with the Penguins, so we can't really say that. And 2, kind of, with the Otters. We were all under the age of 5 when the Otters won their first one. But,
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2002.
Yeah.
You were born in 97.
I was
5
I
at the
was
time.
literally about to turn 3 when they won the. 4 days after they won it, I turned.
When we won our first one, I probably couldn't even say Erie Otters yet. So, yeah, man. Yet again, the Toronto Maple Leafs choking in Game 7 on home ice.
They love Game 7s.
I know, like what Colin was saying, like certain Toronto fans definitely have had this coming to them. But the way I look at it, honestly, is when you were as bad as you were for as long as they were, and now you actually have a team that has starting to see success, you're going to start to get a little excited. You're going to start to show, let your bias and a little bit of your cocky side show. Some of them have definitely gotten a little too much of it. But, yeah, man. The Florida Panthers have advanced in 7 games against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Finals.
A repeat of the Eastern Conference Finals from last season.
2 years ago.
What was it? Who did they play last year? Who did the Panthers play last year? I thought they played the Hurricanes.
That's what I thought.
So is it the 3rd year in a row?
The Rangers.
Oh, that's right.
Because like I said,
Rangers beat the Hurricanes in 2nd round.
Because like I said, it was Florida, Carolina in 23 when Carolina got swept in the conference finals.
Okay. That's right. Wow. Well, that's about wraps it up for this episode, guys. I think we're gonna quickly end this here. Watch this handshake line. Watch Steve Dangle lose his mind for a couple minutes before we head out of the studio ourselves. But thank you guys for listening. Stay tuned. Possibly next week, we'll get together here and decide if we want to go back-to-back weeks here. Depends on how quickly these 2 series are moving along. But Toronto fans, adios. Florida fans, welcome back to the 3rd round. And Brad Marchand, welcome back to the 3rd round. Toronto jersey can officially come down in the studio.
All right. Well,
only 4 remain. It's literally last recording. We still had like 10, 11 hanging because a couple still remaining. But
yeah, I was still on the wall behind Jeffy.
Yeah.
The only non-staple jersey that was up was the Penguins one.
Yeah.
Because the other 2 were still in the closet. Because again, that one's not going away.
Wow. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already done everything, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you know what to do. Goodbye.
We want Florida. We want Florida.